What is up? What is up? Here, just putting the link in the chat. This is Paradise Found channel. I'm Uncle Milton, and welcome. Yeah, I can bring on Joshua James Bolliero, otherwise known as Zenith Atlas. The link is in the chat. My brothers and sisters, and anyone who would like to join, please do so. If you're in here for the first time, please like and subscribe, and thank you for joining us as we go on a wild and wacky journey through the darkest corners of the internet to bring you the most amazing guests that talk about the most amazing topics, mysteries of science, paranormal activity, secret government agencies, aliens, angels, the devil, and God himself. In fact, sometimes, ladies and gentlemen, we might bring someone on who actually thinks they are God. Now, who brings that to you? How many channels will do such as this? But Uncle Milton wants you to engage. He wants to bring you on a journey, an epic journey to the mysterious, the wonderful, so we can answer questions never before pondered in the earth. So thank you. Thank you for spending time with us today. And please, if you're here for the first time, say hello. We'd love to bring you in. We'd love to hear what you have to say. And like I said earlier, we are going to be joined by Zenith Atlas, straight out of Detroit, Michigan, Rock City, home of the MC5 and Iggy Pop. So how about that? And also in the chat, we have a Luna GG. Luna GG. Represent Canada. That's right. Canada in the chat. And no, he is not a Canadian troll. There are many, but he is not one. And I guess I could. Let me see. Let me see. All right, just bear with me for 1 second, my good people. Wow, I bring up some Canada, the home of the hardest sport ever invented. That is NHL. And if you're not an NHL fan, by all means, get some hockey in you, and you will become one. Yes, you will. Go the Vegas Golden Knights. Oh, Canada, my home and native land. That's all I know. There he is. Cyrus Reed Teed. Cyrus Reed Teed. Now that is a name for you, right? That is a name. And he is another interesting character from history. And let's see. Let's see. Let's see what we might be able to learn about Mr. Reed Teed from Wikipedia. Right? All right. Cyrus Reed Teed. Let's see. Cyrus Reed Teed was a U.S. He was a physician and alchemist turned religious leader and self-proclaimed Messiah. And he's a better Messiah than Sam. He is much better. Yeah. In 1869, claiming divine inspiration, T took on the name Koresh and proposed a new set of scientific and religious ideas called Koreshanity, yeah, including a unique hollow earth theory that both says the earth and sky exist inside the inner surface of the sphere. In the 1970s, he founded in New York, the Koreshian Unity. A commune rule of conduct was based in his teachings. One similar community established in Chicago and San Francisco after 1894, the group concentrated itself in a small Florida town of Estero, seeking to build a new Jerusalem. In that Icolate, peaking at 250 residents during the first decade in the 20th century. Following Teed's death late in 1908, the group went into decline, finally disappearing in 1961, leaving the Koreshian State Historical Site behind. Early years. Hang on one second. I just want to make sure Josh isn't in the chat. Hey, Luna, tell me when you won't know. Sorry. All right, let's continue on this. Take a look at this. Okay, as a young electric physician, so he's messing around with electricity. Teed was always interested in unconventional experiments, such as alchemy. When involving dangerously high levels of electricity in the autumn of 1869, during an experiment, he was badly shocked and passed out. During this period of unconsciousness, Teed believed he was visited by a divine spirit who told him that he was the Messiah. Inspired once he awoke, Teed vowed to apply his scientific knowledge to redeem humanity. He promptly changed his name to Koresh in the Hebrew version of Cyrus. Teed denounced the idea that the earth revolved around the sun and instead proceeded to his own theory of the universe, known as cellular cosmogony. According to the theory, human beings live on the inside of the planet, not the outside. So the sun is a giant battery operated Sorry, I'm retarded. I can't read that. And the stars mirror refractions of its light. So Teed was wrong about that, I believe. Teed's ideas called Christianity caught on with others. Christianity preached cellular cosmogony, alchemy, reincarnation, immortality, celibacy, bummer, communism, wow, and a few other radical ideas. Teed started preaching Koreshanity in the 1870s in New York, forming the Koresh Unity. Later moving to Chicago, one of Teed's fundamental principles involved gathering of his most devoted followers into communal living At first, the commune was formed in Chicago in 1888. By 1902, the second Crescian community was established in that city. Other followers of the so-called Crescian unity formed a short-lived community in San Francisco, which lasted from 1891 to 1892. And I think I might have heard Josh. Yes, he's there. All right. I am going to bring Mr. Joshua James Bolliero. Add him. What is up, Mr. Josh? Are you there, my friend?
Yes, I'm here. Just working some stuff out before I get my camera going.
No worries. Well, welcome. And anyone who is watching, welcome. Please feel free to join if you like. Me and Josh are going to be chatting about a few things. So
yeah, feel free to carry on your presentation with.
I was just reading. Since we were graced with the presence of a Messiah today, that I thought I would talk about Cyrus Reed Teed, who actually brought something to us, right? I mean, he was on. I mean, he had a whole place where you can go chill. I know you couldn't have sex or anything, but hell, you can come kick it with Cyrus and do a rectilineator experiment, right? Yeah. So look, death and legacy. Oh, so this is a very interesting part of Cyrus Reed Teed. So he thought he was the Messiah, and then he died. Then he died, right? And he's telling all his people, man, I'm coming back just like Lazarus. Just chill. I'll be right back. Just hang on. I'm just going to lay down for a while. And so they just left him there, man. They really thought he was going to get up, right? And actually, he started stinking. He was a health fucking hazard, dude. Like the whole house was stunk up. They had him laid out there. The health inspector said, "No, you got to bury his ass." So then they took old Cyrus and they buried him, right? They buried him in the cemetery. And then, what do you know? I think it was like that very night, a giant hurricane hit, right? And the hurricane came and washed all this water in, and out went Cyrus. Cyrus went out to sea. Cyrus has never been seen again. But yeah, I do believe Cyrus was onto some things, and Cyrus was. Look, so he's talking about the book of Ezekiel here, the New Jerusalem. He was talking about the prophetic vision of a city centered on the rebuilt Holy Temple, the third temple, to be established in Jerusalem, which would be the capital of the Messianic kingdom. Oh, there he is. Okay. And a meeting place for the 12 tribes of Israel. All right. And we've got Joshua James Bolliero here. Welcome.
What's up, man?
Man, we're just living the dream this morning. I need to start running these earlier, because I've been, looking at YouTube analytics and stuff, and my target audience is the United States, followed by Australia, then Great Britain coming in number 3. Yeah, how come they don't represent? We got Luna Gigi in the chat and Canada, but then my other country is Slovenia. Yeah, I got an algorithm happening from Slovenia, and I think I know who that is over there. Shout out to Taya. Shout out to Taya, and she has we love you. Hope all is well. Yeah, so it's been very interesting. I had a visitor. Come in. Samuel.
How is
Popped
he
in.
doing lately?
Man, he was buck wild. He was all WWE style.
I'll have to
He's
check it out later.
Oh, you got to, man. I mean, like, he's missing his character. He's missing his calling. He's developed this full-on character, and it's, yeah, I don't know, strange. Yeah, he came in from the top rope on old Uncle Milton.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, dude. He did, dude. He gave it. He, yeah. I think I got some message. Yeah, oh shoot. Oh, that's the last stream. Yeah. He said that I'm gonna bow to him and full on Messiah mode, dude. He was like, shit. Like he couldn't even compare. Like Steve, man. Like this dude is. Yeah, I said he's the concave Earth Hitler, but I can't give him that much credit because he's really not. He doesn't have that many. Hitler had some backing.
Hitler
yeah, a lot
actually
of
did
people.
command an army.
Yeah, who believed in his vision. What have you been doing, dude? How was
commanding my army.
How was Lake Sinclair, bro? How was that happening? How was
I was just there. What's today? Monday, Tuesday? I was just there the other day, yesterday or the day before. I haven't been there all summer, not once this whole year.
I know. Wow.
Because my peanut, I don't have the P900 anymore, so I don't have.
You don't?
No,
How
it
much
malfunctioned. Yeah.
How much was that?
Last summer it malfunctioned.
Oh no! How much
But
are
I
those?
I had already gotten the freaking.
You got it,
I already
right?
got the money shot, the Adam's
Yeah.
apple, the inner circle, all that stuff. Yeah.
I'm getting a drone. I'm getting a pretty badass drone very soon. I want to take some beautiful shots of the surrounding area. The earth we do live in is just a very beautiful place, isn't it?
It is. Yeah.
I mean, the creation itself. You can leave us out of it. it's pretty full on. I think we all need to get into that a little more, right? Lots of woods where you're at. Wildlife.
No, I live in a concrete jungle. But here on page, what is it? I think it's must be 29 in mine. There's page 17 in the older edition. Where is it? Maybe it's 39. No.
Wow. So I just pulled up something strange. I just pulled up a page of all the messiahs. Holy shit. There's a lot of them. There's a lot of them.
I think there's one for each age.
Man, dude, it's full on.
It's weird. Why can't I find it?
What are you looking for?
Oh, I'm looking in the wrong book. That's why. I'm thinking about zetetic astronomy. This one is the cellular cosmology. This one right here. This is what I was showing while you were showing the
cool.
food stuff. I was showing this.
Bitching. There it is. There it is. And let's talk about that a little bit. Let's talk about,
while you were saying he won't ever be seen again, I was showing this to your audience.
Oh, you did? Well, there he is. So yeah, Josh just showed the man and who went out to sea. Yeah, and And so, yeah, let's talk about Osiris Reed Teed. So
I personally don't know much about him.
no, I mean
But
let's talk about him disseminating the information and starting his own little cult thing, and
well,
him claiming
as
to
you
be
can
the
see here,
Messiah, and
in
him,
collaboration with Ulysses G. Morrow, this Koresh thing,
yeah,
it reminds me of the whole Waco thing, like David Koresh. Like it
right,
makes total sense. Like
right.
I'm thinking David Koresh was a concave earther. That's what I'm
Oh,
saying.
he might have been right. He might,
I mean, they
and
all
plus,
David Koresh was doing the same thing, starting his
same
own
thing.
community,
I agree.
his own
And what they did to him,
off grid truther movement type stuff, where they
yeah,
all lived
right,
together and they grew their own food and they
yes,
had their own farm and they had their own like
guns,
community. They all shared each
yeah,
other's stuff. Nobody, whatever. Yeah, yeah, guns.
yeah,
Yeah, of course. I mean,
and that's a huge, thing. And what the
and that's what
government
the
did,
government doesn't want is free
oh,
people, free thinking like that. It's
what
not
they
that
did to
they
those
weren't a
people,
threat. They weren't a
yeah,
threat to anybody. You know what I mean?
yeah, what they did to those
Those-
people was shocking. I watched a new documentary about just how the FBI tortured those people, psychologically tortured them, trapped them in there, played all kinds of crazy
I
rock
saw
music.
footage that was never shown on
Yeah,
the news. I've seen footage most Americans have
brutal,
not.
right?
Yeah,
The
on
tactics were
VHS tape
brutal.
from. I saw it in the '90s, back
Yeah,
when it happened.
women and children, like you're waiting
Tank,
for all these
tank,
monsters to come out, right?
tank.
It's a bunch
They
of women
started
and
those
children.
fires. They burned those people alive on purpose.
So
Straight
sad.
up,
It's
they murdered them
shocking.
all with fire. They just burned them out as if they were,
It's shocking. It
cannibals.
really
As
is. Yeah,
as
and
if they were cannibals.
what it
Literally, as
is.
if they were cannibals. They just forgot to eat the people, but they killed them just the same.
Yep, it is. History just keeps on repeating itself, right? It keeps on trying, right? And if we look back, just with the Cyrus T thing, what was happening then, is the same exact thing that's happening now, right? Concave Earth starts to this guy starts to actually say he proved it, right? Then we got Zion in Illinois with Doherty's and starting up the flat Earth to become a big, started up really raging again, and it's just what they're doing, right? What they do.
Yeah, they're
And it's
starting to make new content now. They're starting to have meetups
yes,
again, which is
it's
whatever. But
yeah,
it's just
like
why not just have concave Earth meet? Call it what it is. Like
yeah,
people
yeah,
use. It's like they have this unspoken. uh It's like there's this unspoken rule, that they just call it flat. But every one of those flat Earthers pretty much knows
they
that that
I don't
that
I made that video, just the AE map video, just because I just see so many people who are just and that's I know it's just a simple stupid video, but at least someone could reach out and say, hey, are you in Australia? Like, what do you know? And I'll tell them what I know. I'll tell them about my friend Jordan Mowbray, whose dad is Tony Mowbray, who circumnavigated the globe, but basically, let's say Antarctica, and
hmm
it's very doable. He did it by himself. It's documented. I know him. He's also been to Antarctica. He has been to the ice wall probably more than he led expeditions there for years. They had a boat called Commitment. I was on it, right? And they would take people from the tip of South America to Antarctica, basically to
Yeah,
just
you
hang
can.
out.
The outright claim that no one can go to Antarctica at all ever is just plain false. Now, it
It's
is
ridiculous.
true. It is true that you're not allowed to just independently explore the entirety of Antarctica. You are
Absolutely.
not.
No.
That is true that you're not allowed to just go
Right.
wherever you want in Antarctica. But to make the claim that you can't go to Antarctica is false. So there's a huge gray area where people on both sides of the argument are correct, and they're just not arguing the same thing technically.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
can
There's
you go to Antarctica? Yes. Can you explore Antarctica? No.
right.
And that's that's the, you know, that's the
Can you
real problem
find?
that flat earthers have, is our inability to explore. And I agree, we should have free. Earth belongs to no one and everybody, so we should be, anyone should be able to explore anything they want. And if it's at their own risk, then it's at their own risk. No one should be able to stop anybody from exploring wherever the fuck they want. If they die, that's their own choice. Fuck them. But don't stop them. You know.
Yeah. Yeah, it's the concave Earth is
That's
silent.
freedom. That was a freedom given to us by Creator. You know, no one has a right to take that away. It's the right to explore, and, you know, as long as it's no one else's, you know, private property.
Yeah.
I mean, we're talking about wilderness here. We're talking about the wild. Anybody should be able to go anywhere they want in the wild. Nobody should have a right to tell any other person, no, you can't go there. You know.
Mm. Oh, and speaking of,
if they
Antarctica,
are, there must be a good reason for it.
right. Speaking of Antarctica, there was another proof that that I hadn't thought about in a while. I don't know if you remember Zib Ram. Well, Zib Ram made a video about
the other Messiah, the other Messiah,
the other one. Okay, well, he made a video. God, we are scattered. We're in big trouble. He made a video about flights that take place in between. These flights take place in between these different, like McMurdo, right, and another one of these Antarctica stations, right?
Where is that's in Antarctica? Yeah.
Yeah, there's McMurdo, and there's like quite a few of them around in different ones, and they make flights to each other that are completely impossible on a
flat
ice
circle
wall. Yeah, which is ridiculous that I'm still talking about this.
Because if these bases were really stretched around the perimeter of the Earth,
goodness, yes,
they would take them a lot longer to reach each other. But since they are all near a South Pole, inside or outside, since they are all relatively close to each other, the shorts are quick and
so that's
the flights are short and quick, rather.
Another one that can be, you know, just, and there's so many. There's a race around Antarctica basically once a year or whatever. It's a sailing race. They do have that. I've seen people try to debunk that, but I found that and brought it to Steven's attention.
Yeah,
he did a little video about it years ago.
It was a yellow boat too that won that one year.
Yeah, and what's really trippy is, like, I actually know this friggin'. I'm friends with this Tony Mowbray's kid. I could literally probably bring him on. I should, even though he would come on. And I mean, he was the youngest captain in New South Wales. Like, just an epic,
perfect,
amazing kid. I mean, nothing that, you know, and used to talk about, you know, there's some people who think the Earth is like flat and Antarctica is an ice wall. That's, he's just laugh. And then I also told him, you know, like, and then I told him about, you know, what I really believe is, you know, we're looking at the stars one night, and I said, yeah, I believe that's heaven, Jordan. I believe the Earth is inverted, right? And we live inside. He didn't laugh. He didn't laugh.
No, because you still believe in a spherical Earth, which,
of course. Well, I mean,
more logical than something,
right? I mean, it doesn't
function, you know.
Especially from a sailor's perspective, right? Because sailors are used to, you know, like stars, right? They used to navigate.
Or from a celestial mechanics perspective, either.
Oh, dude, thank God they didn't have
both the map of the sky and the map of the Earth. They're both going to be wrong, because,
dude, if we were AE sailors, we'd be in big trouble. AE sailing around, we'd be. I wouldn't know which way. we'd be going round and round in that big
Yeah, because you
AE
think you need to go a huge distance and you don't, so you offshoot and you're on the wrong trajectory and everything.
circles, dude. Where are we in the southern hemisphere? We're all trying to. It's ridiculous,
Yeah,
right?
you guys have a lot of value because you live. Not only are you in the southern
Yes.
hemisphere, but you're far south enough where it's a significant,
Yeah, we
because
are.
here in the north, concave Earth and flat Earth pretty much looks the same in the sky. The big
Dude,
difference is in the south where you have opposite southern star trail and
exactly. So
on a flat circle Earth, everything would still be going yes east to west,
exactly.
so they would all be clockwise instead of
Yeah, and
the
that's what I
north
said in my
being
video. Was one of the biggest reasons
counterclockwise, and
why I
this doesn't
distrust
function
flat
on
Earth,
a yeah.
why I distrust flat Earth, and why you should distrust flat Earth and anybody who's pushing, especially this model. Still, Mark
Right.
Sargent is still
Right.
pushing this friggin' dome bull crap to innocent
When there's been so many people
people.
who live in the southern hemisphere that have shown the footage of the sky.
Yes. In fact,
And so that's
hang
why,
on 1 second,
for
Josh.
those of us that haven't been to the south, the testimony of people who live there is great.
Yes. Okay. I don't know if you see this, but I pulled up on the screen. This is some beautiful footage taken by our very own Craig Lias, who used to be a flat earther until he, couldn't quite wrap his head around because he lived in Adelaide for 5 years. He was stuck in the flat earth, and he had these stars hovering over his head that he just couldn't make it. And then he found something that did work, and he now shares his footage, which he is an actual person. If you would like to meet him, I would love to share the information. You can talk to him personally. He can help you get from, if you're stuck, to try to have at least some kind of understanding what's happening. I'll keep on playing a little bit because it's really, and I know it's very faint and it's dark, but now we can see right here, we can see there's an axis of rotation. There's a center there. There is a center, right? And it is Sigma Octantis. It is the southern pole star. I get to look at it every night. And no, it's not perfectly centered. Neither is Polaris. Okay. So anyone who is stuck on that map, all right, and these are a completely different set of stars. If you don't think so, and you're in the northern hemisphere, go try to find the Southern Cross. Go try to find that. And you wonder why they call those set of stars the Southern Cross, is because you only see it from certain, places in the earth. And so that's a big problem. So these are a completely different set of stars with a completely opposite rotation, right?
And completely different constellations too.
Right.
The south has their own constellations, and if they can't be viewed from the north,
right, exactly. And so, and you can see here, we've got clockwise. We got clockwise rotation in the southern hemisphere. Northern hemisphere, we've got counterclockwise rotation around the pole star that somebody's trying to tell you is the center of your universe. Well, I beg to differ. We're down here in Australia.
We've got
a voice, and we're real. And I'm American down here, just verifying for you guys. So, if you got any questions, happy to talk about them. We won't yell at you. We won't.
It's almost like male and female. It's almost like the flat Earth community wants to make the North the center, like it's more important than the South, when in reality, the South is just as important as the North, just like the male is important to the female as each other, right? So in their own, the only way male and female are equal is that they complement each other. And so that's what they were created to do. And it's the same thing with the North and the South Pole. No, they're not equal. but they complement each other and they provide the balance and harmony required for life to survive. And so with concave Earth, you have the pole at the top and a pole at the bottom, but the all existence of, all of existence, the creative source lies in, in between those two poles in the middle.
Yeah, it's crazy. So
Just a little analogy.
Paul says apparently there are more flat earthers in Brazil than anywhere else in the world. And I find this so hilarious because if you look at their flag, they have a celestial sphere on their fucking
Yeah, they
flag.
have the concave with the diamond right there. And the band around the sphere, which is the, Milky Way, band which guides the sun and
the swaddling band.
Sun Analema and all that happy horse shit, So it's like it's completely a concave Earth flag. I don't believe that there's more flat earthers in Brazil than anywhere. I strongly doubt that. I think most of them are probably in the U.S. because that's where all the stupid people are.
We were just talking about where I think there's a whole group of trolls in Canada. A real group of, I think a lot of the propaganda, the flat Earth propaganda, comes out of the Queen network there.
Well, that reminds me. Something I was about to bring up a few minutes ago was how flat Earth misrepresents flight routes, and one of the main culprits of the people who misrepresent this lie is that flat Earth Brazil Japan banjo guy or whatever.
Oh yeah,
flat Earth banjo Brazil Japan. I don't know, whatever. But he always, he always wants to draw a straight line across his little, inflatable blow up Earth. But he doesn't use the great circle arch, which is what the aviation industry uses, which is actually the shortest path, which would actually take, so instead of someone traveling like this, let me go again. Instead of someone traveling like this around a sphere, they would actually travel more like this.
Yeah.
And so, in that flight, when that woman was pregnant, that flight from Asia to LA or whatever, they're like, oh, they should have stopped in Hawaii, Alaska. But they stopped way up here, and it's because it's because the Great Circle Arch would have taken on that path anyways, and that really was the closest airport because flat Earth misrepresents where the flight path would actually be on or in a sphere. And so they made it look like flat Earth was more accurate, when in reality, both the flat Earth and the sphere Earth would have taken them over Alaska, which is why they actually stopped there. Which is why, this is why the flat Earth deception works more in the north, and which is subsequently why people experiencing the stars from the south or hearing testimony from people who live in the south like yourself is more valuable, is because that's where there's greatest distortion, both with the Earth and seas map and the sky map. But they're going to correlate to each other, but the maps, whether it be dirt or sky, whatever, the map, that's where there's going to be the greatest distortion, because that's where the sphere is being unwrapped into a flat circle. And so the distortion is going to lie greatest in the south. And so that's where the real disproof can come from regarding the distances of, flights and whatever.
Yeah. And there's another one. So during COVID, and I pointed this out in my video. So during COVID, all the flights in Sydney are kind of blocked off, right? But they've opened up the flight from Santiago, Chile to Darwin, right? So that it's even longer, right?
Where is Darwin again? Australia?
It's from Santiago, Chile to Darwin, and Darwin's up top, right? Way up top.
Up top where? Australia?
Way up top of Australia.
Okay. All right.
Yeah. Way up in the right in the middle in the north, right? And it's
either way on a flat circle, anywhere from from Chile to anywhere in Australia would be a great distance.
Yeah, listen to it. So the flight used to be around over 14 hours from Sydney to Santiago, Chile, right? And now it's about, I think about 16 or 17 hours, right? And it's Darwin, right? But if you look at the AE map, like Darwin is before, like you'd actually, if you measuring it out on the AE map, you'd actually hit Darwin first, shorter distance to Darwin on the AE
On
map.
the AE map. But it's a longer flight.
Which I realized everyone's like, so I got attacked. Oh, you're arguing, you're debunking a projection. I'm like, no, I'm debunking anyone who believes in this, because there are a ton of people who still sell this map. They sell these things to people.
You're not debunking a projection because you know it's a projection. You're debunking the people who claim that it's a factual, navigable, flat, circular surface.
Yeah.
That's people untrue.
Giving up all hope.
You're supporting the fact that it's a projection. It is a projection. It's a projection.
And I know it's good
it's
a
flat projection of a sphere, which is
But still, there's those videos, 200 proofs, and Mark Sargent's videos that are hooking all these people, and they're getting actually hooked by this. They get hooked by it, and then they love it. I mean, like, if you were trying to tell me, look, the earth you were a flat earther, so you probably came up across this a lot. What was, like, if you came up to me, Nathan Thompson, gorilla style, hey man, the earth's flat. And I'm like, okay, show me how. I need to know. Show me how it works. And what would you say?
If someone asked me how flat Earth works,
like how does it work? The Earth's flat. Would you go straight to the water thing, or would you go like, here's the model? Or
I could. It depends on the person, case by case scenario. So depending on the person, I'd get a feel for whether they were the philosophical type or the scientific type. So I might most of the time I was spending most of the time really just debunking heliocentricity, which is really all flat Earth is.
Yeah, exactly.
Since I mean, like evidence of flatness, that's really all flat Earth can be.
So. If I went to you and said, like,
right,
hey, will you show me a map? Because I'm that kind of person who would go straight there. Like, I'd go straight there. Like, show me. I need to know.
I wouldn't start with the maps or the stars.
You wouldn't?
Because those were the areas I was least confident about, and for obvious reasons.
Yeah.
So I would start with either the helio debunk or the observable reality that we are obviously
water.
Yeah, the visual ability to see so far that we can't be living on the outside of the sphere that size that
I just find it crazy how we were talking about this earlier. I was thinking about just how all these crazy theories are just accepted and people are allowed to talk about them, right? There's so many flat earthers that have just some wild imagination stories. And then the whole heliocentric thing, which we know a lot of wild imagination comes with that, right? And yet concave Earth tries to come in and we're just fucking nut pieces of shit, right? Like nothing. You guys know anything but that.
Anything but concave. Yeah, there was actually a slogan that some of us were using. The gatekeepers, they'll talk about it. They'll look like truthers. They'll spend their whole lives looking like truthers just to hide this one. You know what I mean? They're all hiding. This is the one thing that almost every truther just vehemently avoids. Just, quote unquote truther, whatever the topic. Whether you got chemtrails or the Illuminati or the Freemasons or whatever, 9/11, JFK, moon landing, you pick your poison. Vaccines, whatever, whoever nobody wants to talk about the habitat that we all live in. It just
No.
seems so fucking weird that the most fundamental truth, where we live and the location of the source of creation, just
Is
it ties,
neglected. We can't
it
even.
ties hand in hand with like the greatest question, unanswered questions left in life. Who are we and why are we here?
Yeah. What
And
happens
like
when we
this
die?
is like the biggest step humanity can make towards answering those questions, and nobody thinks it matters. It's just profoundly mind blowing. Don't you think? Isn't it fucking weird how just people's
Yeah, it's
their conscious their level of consciousness is so low that they can't understand that something like this could be the answer to solve humanity's
could,
most
but
challenging issues. Just
you've
blows my
got to
mind. Blows
examine
my
it.
fucking
It's
mind.
not going away. You've got to examine it, or like how can you? That just blows my mind that all these different people have all these different wild theories, and they're not. They're just allowed to talk, allowed to openly debate. And same with the. Like I'll have to say, the wildest imagination is the heliocentric model, because it comes with so much
Oh, the
fantasy.
distances and
Oh,
speed, just
it is
insane,
maddening,
insane,
and
and
the
with nothing but fakery as evidence.
right,
It just
and the
it's got a
brainiacs
huge
that
white flag that all over it too, and it's just and it. You're right. It just reigns free like this truth.
and these so-called so educated people, so
Oh
hooked
man,
and
expert. Yeah.
it's like, and they will say this craziest shit, when it's just all it really it
Brian
is.
Cox, he is just a piece of work, isn't he? That
My
guy.
goodness, is
Oh
to
man.
actually get that to fit. They're constantly having to, oh look, it's syzygy in the house. What is up?
Fucking
Why do we have
okay.
a moon in the concave model? What purpose
Brian.
does the moon have in God's plan? Well, he made it. I know God made the moon.
Very
So
mysterious, but yeah.
so
Very
the moon is a
mysterious.
very cool topic, and it is a big problem in the flat earth. I'll tell you that. And it's also a problem in the heliocentric model, especially with that Gegenschein.
Yeah.
That
Flat Earth has no lunar eclipse. Sorry.
yeah,
You need
yeah,
T2 and Rahu and all these other
right. And say what you want about old.
all these other entities that, can't be proven.
Yeah, and say
So
what a lot
I
about
say I
Stephen
say
Christ,
T2 and Rahu never existed.
but
And
Lord
that's my
Stephen
challenge.
Christ has a
That's my challenge to Eric Dubay is prove that T2 and your other one there,
yeah,
right? Those T2 and Rahu or whatever those two are.
yeah. That's yeah. I mean,
Prove
they can go
prove
on,
they
right?
exist. Well, because that's their explanation for the lunar eclipse. Is one of these two mysterious dark circles or something. These celestial entities that make a lunar eclipse possible.
Man, I was watching one of LSC's videos about that. He does a very good explanation of the mapping out the moons, uh, all the eclipses and the different phases of the moon. It's pretty
Yeah, and
intricate, man.
all the percentages of the angles and everything. The celestial mechanics. He goes into great detail. Visually showing. With his CGI model there, he can show.
Look,
How in
Rico.
certain parts of the year the path of this celestial body is like this, and at a different portion of the year, you can match the CGI with the actual observations of the sky and see that, fucking makes
Yeah,
sense.
yeah. So
Namely the sun annealing is a prime example.
yeah, it's so intricate. I just been still reviewing a lot of the information, just going back over it, and Man, with the motions of the planets, I was checking out all that work, and that's pretty intricate stuff, right? All the retrograde motions that's mapped out in a couple of those videos are just wow.
Yeah. So thank you to the people who gave Steve assistance for that. With
Yeah.
that, because I don't know who they were, but there was, he had some friends that that helped him with tracking some of these celestial objects. Back in the days before you and I probably even knew him. Back when he was,
Yeah. I mean, because it's like,
before most of us knew him or knew of him or whatever. But thanks to the people, Tia knows who they are. I don't.
yeah. And just the and so anybody who's out there who's listening who might be a flat earther or whatever, and they're trying to make a flat earth model, you have to take in account just all these intricacies, right? That just they have to work together. It's got to be what a Rolex God built, right? And that's stupid to even call it a Rolex, but an intricate perpetual motion machine.
It's really just a clock and a calendar all at the same time. The sky is. Yeah.
Right.
And
I mean, but everything
God,
just,
yeah, with the moon comes, the Sabbath, which is another massive lie that nobody wants to talk about that either. The fact that the moon is what determines the Sabbath, not any one of our man-made calendars.
Yeah.
Not the Julian calendar, not the Gregorian calendar. None of those calendars have anything to do with the real Sabbath. So, which is why Scripture, in the Ten Commandments, it didn't say just to keep it. It said first. It said remember the Sabbath and keep it holy. So, Scripture is indicating that we're going to forget the Sabbath, and clearly we have, because we don't use the moon to determine the Sabbath anymore. And if you actually look in the book, and it's blatantly obvious that the moon is what determines the new moon day, which is the first day of each biblical month. So the moon determines new moon day, and then you work 6 days, have a Sabbath, work 6 days, have a Sabbath, work 6 days, have a Sabbath.
Right, until
you see another new moon again. There was actually people back then that's what their job was to track the moon, and they would be able to they would know 2 or 3 days. That's how they would be able to tell an approaching Sabbath, is because they'd see it 91%, 94%, 96%. Okay, Sabbath tomorrow, And so then so nobody worked. It was a feast day, And so this is how the calendar worked for the Israelites, the 12 tribes of Israel, not just the Jews, but all the other 11 tribes. Right.
They wait for a sliver, right? For it to be a sliver before they'll even like.
Well, those are the people. Those are the people who. Right. I just. My problem was right, and those people are keeping a lunar Sabbath, but I suspect that the deception goes even deeper. Which phase of the moon was the biblical new moon? Now, I know what the new moon is in modern day, but what if that wasn't? You know what I mean? But those people are at least close. At least they're using the damn moon for a Sabbath. So kudos, you know what I mean? But I don't know. Maybe a new moon is a full moon.
So there you go.
That's what Psalm 81:4 says in some. That's why I bought all those different scriptures, was because of Psalm 81. I was trying to keep the biblical Sabbath. And I was too. I was working a job where I chose my day off because I had to, because I never knew which day of the week my Sabbath was going to be. Back.
Well, there you go. So
Perry's delivering service, Nashua, New Hampshire.
Sister G. So there you go. He asked why do we have the moon? So that is the reason.
Some days, some months, my Sabbath was every Wednesday.
That seems like
some months my Sabbath was every Tuesday. You always felt, it never was because I would use the moon to determine the Saturn. Sorry.
So was Rob Skiba? Did Rob keep Skiba? That he kept that? No. There's some other cats who keep that. I don't know if you've ever.
Rob, where I mean, I was in Atlanta. Rob's from Massachusetts. I'm from New Hampshire. Rob's from Massachusetts. He never reached out. When I was in Atlanta, I did reach out to Zen. He told me where he went to church. I was never able to get over there because I didn't have my own vehicle. But we never ended up connecting, Zen and I, when I was in Atlanta. But they never reached out. I mean, I've been talking about this stuff for years now. So if they were really seeking the truth, if they really had a relationship with, Yahoo, then they would know this stuff. They'd be on the narrow path with me. They're not. It's just a sad truth. And there's going to be so many flat earthers that are going to, it's going to hurt them. It hurt me too when I came to the realization, like, oh, these people are not on my team. These people are wolves here, and a huge, and which is going to sound like a huge attack, but it's not. Zen is the reason. Not the reason. Zen is one of the reasons that I did a lot of that filming, was for people who can't. There's a lot of elderly people that might see a lot of this content. They can't get out there and go crouch down in the water and film. They can barely walk. So or children. They can't really. A child can't go buy a P900. They don't have their own money to do that. So there's lots of people that could benefit from somebody out, going and doing it. And that's why I did it. That's why I uploaded all that raw footage. So please don't feel like, oh, I don't want to use Joshua's footage without his permission. You don't need my permission. Just freaking use it. I don't care. I do. Anybody and everybody
nice. Well, that's
fair use, right? I mean, that's why I redid Eric's 200 proof, because at the end of his 200 proofs, he said that he wanted people to expand upon it. So by all means, everybody, use the damn footage. Use it to make your own videos. I don't care about credit. I don't care about money. I don't care about views, subs, thumbs, comments. I don't give a rat's freaking ass. I just want my son to have a future, and the quickest way for that to happen is for people to learn this truth first, because then all the other truth, they'll learn all the other truths faster. It's going to take too long if everybody learns all the other truths and then finds concave Earth. It's just going to take too fucking long. Let's just get everybody on, So this is where Sam and I agree. I appreciate Sam's intensity to recognize this as the most important truth, and it has to be, because it's our very reality. It's where we live. It's the creation that we live in. And if everybody would just understand that, then boom, then we'd all, everybody's hamster would start running at the same time on the wheel, and then we'd actually make some progress. But if it's just this world is going to be such a shitty place by the time everyone learns where this earth, by the time everyone learns they live inside the earth, it's going to be a fucking prison. It doesn't have to be a fucking prison by the time everyone realizes they're inside one. We could, if we wake up soon enough, it'll still be a terrarium, a beautiful terrarium. But if we, and everyone's going to realize they live trapped inside a beautiful terrarium. Instead, if it takes too long, everyone's going to come to the realization that they live inside a fucking dungy, dirty prison. It doesn't have to be a prison when everyone realizes that they live inside. It could just be a beautiful ecosystem still. And of course, these are all just analogies for the mental slavery, not the ball and chain physical slavery. But if we wait too long, we're all going to be prisoners by the time we all realize we're inside something. And it doesn't have that something, that inside of something doesn't have to be a prison. It could still be a beautiful ecosystem, rich and vibrant and beautiful.
Yeah, and so there is the thing is, how do we try to convey the information the best way possible? And I'm sure we're all trying to do that in our own way. I know our motives are good. And I just, yeah, there's certain ways that I believe are a little better to operate. And I think if we get caught up in some of this kind of yelling at people and talking down to them and just asking for them to worship you can be pretty off-putting. So yeah, just try to figure out the best way we can. I know we're under a real problem because it's not easy to even be let in the conversation. But shout out to everybody who's here tonight. We got Paul and Luna. We had quite a few. We had Rico Gray stopped in, and I don't know if Sissy G's still here, but yeah, we had a few more than normal. Yeah, I think the Messiah complex thing really
Oh, okay.
I
You
don't
put
know
that on the screen. Okay.
I don't know what it is about this information that makes people get a Messiah complex. What do you think, Josh, about that?
Well, I know exactly what it is. It's well, I'll basically just let's see, where do I start? Okay, so kind of like my thoughts on 5D, where people think there's different dimensions and everything. I don't think there's more dimensions beyond 3 or 4. The 3 physical XYZ, 3D physical space, reality. Um, and then the 4th dimension being time. Anything beyond that, I think it was just operating at different frequencies. And so I'll give an example for that. Like when you're in your car, right? And remember back when cars had a knob and you had to tune, you had to tune your radio, and
Yeah,
until you get the right digit, sometimes 88.9 would come in better than 88.7, even though the station was really 88.5, but you live in that certain spot of town where, whatever, blah, 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 right? Okay. But then you want to switch stations. You want to listen to whatever. You want to listen to sports instead of rock and roll, right? So you go to switch stations. But halfway there, in between the 2 stations, you start to hear both stations, right? On the radio.
right.
So you're basically operating at not at 2 different frequencies, but in between 2 different frequencies, right? So that's audio. So if we apply the same concept to video instead of audio, okay, so now you see paranormal footage. Maybe that's just being in between 2 frequencies of existence, not just frequencies of sound. But sound and existence are the same anyway, right? Because
Well,
first we had water, which was not a part of creation. Water preceded the creation. Water already existed first. So then God spoke, you have sound, and then there was light, sonoluminescence, right? Water and sound equals light, just like Genesis 1. So
right.
you have sound. Like Tesla said, if you want to understand the universe, think in terms of energy, frequency, and vibration. This is why Tesla called Earth a realm, is because there's several, at least, who knows how many, but there are at least several different frequencies of existence. So just like your radio, you have many different options for which frequency you can choose to tune into. And humans and Earth are the same way, and creation is based in the same way. So you want to talk about the spirit realm or demons or ghosts and stuff like that. I think it's hogwash. I think really is we're elevating our level of consciousness and we're finding different frequencies of existence, just like you find different frequencies of sound on your radio. We're seeing different frequencies of existence manifest with our eyes. The cameras are catching it, whatever. And so that's what I think is going on. That's what I think CERN, time travel, all that stuff ties in together. Is and whether I'm right or wrong, who knows? But
No,
I think this kind of bridges the gap. Also, there are many people that believe that ultimately we are all one consciousness, just broken up into little pieces or whatever. and that ultimately we are all just one consciousness experiencing and observing the 3D creation or simulation, if you will, um, in these vehicle flesh bodies, and that outside of these flesh bodies, we are all just one consciousness. But while we're in these flesh bodies, we are unaware that really we are all one. We are all God. We are all, oneness. And so singularity, the source, if
Like a
if
little
if we're
piece of
actually
God.
living it, yeah, if we're actually living the dream, and reality is that we are God experiencing um, life through 7.8 billion different perspectives. We are all one. Um, we are all one consciousness, just asleep, or just our
Mm.
conscious. Basically, our consciousness has been transferred to these flesh vehicles, um, and so maybe that's an ability that the angels didn't have, which is why they had to worship us. That might make sense too. But anyways,
Yeah,
these are all
that's
just these
no,
are all
that's
just things. These are all just things to think about. But imagine if every human on Earth was thinking about all these things at the same exact time. What that, and I think that's what they really, that's what these people who want to control us, which is really just, if I'm right, then really God is just stopping himself, or I am just stopping myself, or you are just stopping yourself. We are stopping ourselves. Because I am you and you are me. And so to answer your question, that's the kit and caboodle right there. And so people who have a Messiah complex screaming, "I'm the Messiah, I'm God," this is this is what they're not telling you. And so this is why when Sam calls himself the Messiah, or Zib or Steve or anybody else, I'm like, it's cool, as long as you understand, as long as you truly understand that you live inside the concave earth, and all this stuff that I understand, and you're claiming you're God, I'm okay with that. But if you still think you live on a spinning ball on a heliocentric earth, zipping around the universe at 600 fucking thousand miles an hour, and you're saying you're God and you're Jesus Christ, well, fuck you, you're full of shit. Get out of here. You don't understand shit. You're just a phony. You know what I mean? But there are
yeah,
some truly enlightened people in this earth, and they understand, the shit I just told you. Um, Maybe they're just not confident articulating it that way in the manner I just did. But that's there's a lot of people, and there's not to say that that's the pinnacle. There's probably a lot more to learn than that. But most people are still worried about whether this football team is going to win by X amount of points, so that they can make $400 off their bet or whatever, and they
yeah,
don't have time to worry about what kind of life their child is going to have.
yeah. I agree. Well, Syzygy says he believes that we're zipping around the universe, and we're talking about the Messiah complex right
So,
now. In fact,
it's not. I mean, a complex is just kind of a label. So,
yeah, it is. I just pulled up on the screen. There is David Koresh.
there you go. See, he probably understood all this stuff. Maybe not in as good a
Yeah.
detail because there was no internet back then, so he didn't see all of Steven's work. But he probably
Uh, you
who
think they
knows? I mean,
resemble each other, Steve and David
I
Koresh?
think the other day we were asking each other. You had asked me if there was somebody in Hollywood who was going to play Steve. Who would it be?
Yeah.
Well, David Koresh isn't in Hollywood, but you're right. I can't. He probably does look more. I
Yeah, I mean,
don't
like
know.
really.
I
I
don't
mean,
know a
like
lot of people that look like Steve,
like
but
take the
it's kind of
glasses
close.
off.
That's kind
Take
of
the
close. I
glasses
mean,
off. Put the sunglasses on.
shave the head. Shave the
Shade
head.
that, or you know what I
But
mean?
then there's no hair there. I'm just blending the hair with the background. No hair. I'm just seeing the juice. Kind of
That's
looks like,
pretty
without the
trippy.
glasses, kind of looks like Jaren a little bit, actually. Add the little goatee on the chin. That kind of looks like
Yeah.
Jaren.
So
uh,
so Steve would be younger than
that's
David
funny.
Koresh because he was born in '59. So Koresh, yeah, he would be up there now if he was still alive. Oh, look, wow, this is
Let's see
crazy.
your question on the screen. The Sabbath. Why do we have a moon in the concave model? What purpose does the moon have in God's plan? Well,
Yeah,
all the celestial bodies matter, but the moon directly relates to the Sabbath. So that's just one answer. So I'm gonna let John carry on.
so check this out. So David Koresh, you know how old he was when he died?
I don't know, 33,
33.
37, 33.
33.
Yeah, just a wild fucking
33. What a friggin' trip. Huh?
That's funny.
Man. Yeah,
You know, he
remember.
died in 1994, right? Same year as Kurt.
I think so.
Yeah.
Hey, Kitty, what's up? Sam is anger, man. Just listen to 2 minutes of him ranting. We never.
Oh, Sam's probably
afraid.
live right now too, huh? I didn't even think of that. That's
What?
funny.
Oh, he's probably going, dude. He's going
Yeah,
off.
he's probably. Oh man, we're a bunch of satanic
I know,
Luciferians.
dude. It's on
Even
now. It's
even
on.
though like I just busted him, like Sam, come on, you know the same shit as me. You know, get lost. You know? Steve knows the same thing that Rib knows, that Sam knows, that Josh knows, that Kitty knows, that Matt knows, that John knows, that you know we all.
Yeah.
Come on.
Concave Hitler. Concave Hitler.
I
But
know, right?
he's got no following, you know? Yeah. Yeah, poor Sam. He needs to, just settle down a bit. I don't want anything bad to happen to him, you know. He's friggin' off chain, aggro, very angry.
Well, it can't hurt to have one guy providing that element. I mean, he doesn't bother me anymore, so it is what it is. But you know, kudos to Sam for sacrificing himself for doing that, because
I hear you.
he is reaching some people that wouldn't be reached any other way, and so there had to be one person to do what Sam does. And so, as much shit as he catches, at least I'm not condoning half the shit he does it as. I'm not. I'm just saying, like, there's some people that wouldn't be reached any other way, and so he does it for them. So I understand that, and so the rest of you should understand that. So
amen.
Cut him some slack. I know he seems a little crazy.
No, I love you, Sam. We're not going to bag it on you anymore. In fact, won't dedicate any more of our time. Yeah, just looking at.
We'll just leave him alone. He leaves us alone. He does his thing.
Yeah,
and
I thought
if he wants to reach out and talk with us, that's cool. But
I thought we were going to be nice. I brought him on. I was intending to be nice, but then I just got jumped. He just mugged me.
Yeah, I haven't watched your other stream where you guys had a pleasant conversation. So until I see that,
very nice.
I'm not going to comment on it. Right? That's cool.
He was very mean.
I mean, you can't argue with his dedication. I mean, he's still what?
No, that's for sure. I have to say that. That's what he accused me of. He said, "You've been
can't argue with his dedication." So there's that.
You've been doing nothing, Milton, is what he said. I've taken over. Yeah, he's like,
hey, I can understand. I can understand. Sam showed I've showed my dedication in certain ways, because I don't make tons of videos and go live all the time. He does. So there needs to be someone going live all the time and doing that. So that's cool. Right? And you started doing that too. But there needed to be someone doing what I was doing too. So God gave us each our own talents or whatever.
We all need to pick up the slack, right?
We gave ourselves our own talents, and we just in this flesh experience, we gotta use our talents as we're given them, and so we're doing that.
Yeah.
And the only people I communicate with in the concave community are the people who do contribute.
Yeah. There's a tight little bunch of us.
Guys like Craig, you know what I mean? He's
Craig, yeah. Authentic people.
Craig is
real dudes.
Craig is just a footage maniac, man, for a long time. He had to take a break from it, like me too. I was a footage maniac in my own separate way.
Yeah, I mean,
But he recognized his own value, being able to freaking understand the concave model and apply that and get us absolutely great footage of all the fucking star trails and shit in the south, which is something that us people in the north could really use, you know.
Yeah.
So I mean,
Absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, nothing like actually being here and taking that footage, but once you've taken it, you've got it, and you
right?
you can do it over and over again. But well,
And then
got it.
there's people like Kitty and Matt Holt and Rick Sparrow who helped out like financially, you know what I mean?
Right.
Helped me out when I was down and out and I really needed work, money, help, like shit like that. And thank goodness for those people. They some there's a lot of, not a lot, but there are some people that contributed without providing their own evidence or footage, but they contributed by supporting some of us that did. Like, for example, I lived in a vehicle for 9 months. While I was getting all that footage, I was working full time, living out of a vehicle and still filming and making videos in my car while living in my car, uploading videos using Dunkin' Donuts Wi-Fi, sleeping in my car. You know what I mean? I was doing all that work, but that car I was able to buy for myself from another concave earther because I had money, because I had a job provided to me by another concave earther. Matt Holt got me the job where
I
I made the
remember
money,
when you
where I
were
made the money
struggling
to
a
buy
bit,
the
man.
vehicle from Matt Holt, which is the vehicle I used to get to Detroit to film in the first place. You know what I mean? So like these people, some of these people I'm very grateful for these people because they were.
Yeah, there's a lot of good people in this
Rick
community.
Sparrow
Right?
skipped in some money when my car got impounded. Ohio impounded my car for some stupid technical reason. You know what I mean? Their computer showed my car was unregistered, but I had a registration in the car. Blah 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 blah. Long story short, he freaking sent me some money. Kitty has been great. I mean, she's been with all her vegan food and oh my goodness, man.
Yeah,
the list
you're.
goes on and on. So I've been blessed, but it's because I know how to Matthew 6:33. Seek ye first the kingdom. So believe me, I've had it hasn't been easy. I've had a lot of. Oh my goodness, I've lost both
Yeah.
my sons. Just lost my son that is alive. His mom just died, so that blows. He just lost his mom forever. So that hit me pretty hard. I didn't even know. So yeah, man, it's what a.
It's been a whirlwind. I know that.
It's been a lot of pain, physical, emotional, all that shit. So it's been a roller coaster. It's been crazy.
Yeah, I watched you go through quite a bit, man.
What a trip.
Yeah, it's good to see you settled and doing good, man.
Yeah, well, I mean, the world is in a crazy state of affairs.
Oh man,
Not just.
it has been.
I sacrificed my life a long time ago. I'm not worried about my own. To some extent, yeah. I mean, but I'm not. My focus is on the future of our children. Holy shit.
Yeah, well, I mean that's it, right?
I have to assume that. I mean, one would assume that if there's going to be a judgment process and there's going to be a treasure and reward system in the kingdom of God, like God says there's going to be, the rich will be the least in God's kingdom, or whatever, those type of analogies. I would have to imagine that the people who carry their lives with a thought paradigm that's solely based on what's best for their children and the future of humanity, rather than short-term gratification.
Well, you got to speak your mind. You got to say what you believe. Sooner or later, you got to make a stand, and this would be that time.
Well, what I believe is almost irrelevant because most of my this journey has led me to realize that belief was never my friend. You know, knowledge was power. Belief was always my enemy. You know, belief
Yeah,
was
I
what
mean, but
belief is what convinced me I had a truth and prevented me from seeking a truth. And had I only sought, I would have realized that my beliefs were lies and deception. So there's a bit of a gray area there because
yeah, I get what you're
belief and
saying.
faith can be useful things, but they can be such dangerous things too. You know,
I
without faith and belief, deception wouldn't be possible if you think about it.
and that's why I think I keep my
Deception is only
beliefs.
possible because of belief and faith.
I kind of try to, at least I've learned to, to to adjust them, right? Adjust those so-called beliefs as the information comes in. So that's kind of how I look at it. But
I think in a world free of deception, their knowledge would reign, and there would be no belief and faith.
yeah, and that's the
Because
whole thing is,
in order to truly eliminate deception, you have to really eliminate the possibility of deception, and that's really a tall order, and that really can only be accomplished by eliminating any type of doubt, which means eliminating belief, faith, and you would have to be an all-knowing being, really, which is kind of impossible in this flesh state. So we can't. So basically, we can't live in a perfect world.
well, that's obvious. That is
Yeah.
for sure.
News, breaking news.
That
so,
is
so,
for
so,
sure.
so some people have come to the realization and say, okay, well, since we can't, why bother? I'm just going to live in the short term, live in the now, which I think is really selfish mindset paradigm. You know, just
Mm.
because life can't be perfect doesn't mean we should just give up on our child's future. You know, and so that's what I really think sacrificing your life is all about. It's not about. It's not always about dying. Sometimes it's about doing the right thing for long enough and planting enough seeds and reaching enough people where there's enough people where we can change the ultimate direction of you know
Well, I
humanity.
would like to think that we
Even if
can,
we don't
right?
end up
I
living
mean,
in a perfect world, that doesn't mean we have to live in the
yeah.
cesspool that it is now. Because tell you what, the world definitely was better. Say, I don't know. I guess I can't say I didn't live then, but it was definitely better in the '90s. I mean, fuck, wasn't the world better in the '90s?
I tell you like the 90s and give
God
me,
damn. Yeah, life
give
was
me
way
this,
better in the '90s. This is bullshit. Listen, we don't
give
need the
me
cell
this,
phone. Give them
give me
back.
the
Fuck this
70s
shit.
and 80s, baby.
Give me
Give me the 70s and 80s. That's what I
just
want
something.
back.
This shit blows. This is nonsense, you know?
It is, right? Yeah. Bring back the old rotary telephone. Bring that all back. Take me back.
No, we
Yeah.
don't have to go crazy. We can still have
No,
fun.
no, no, no. It was good.
We can
It
still have
was,
the
that's
fun
when it
with
was dynamite.
the numbers.
And
No, it was those white buttons that would glow up green, you know, those what the first cordless ones.
so, hello to the chat. We got 4 people
Oh
watching,
right.
which is
Yeah,
massive.
holy
I
shit.
just want to say what is up and welcome.
Oh, Kitty's here,
Yeah, hit the
Paul's here,
like and
Lunar.
subscribe
Oh,
button.
man,
If
G. Cool.
yeah, if you want to join, please do so. Just put
Yeah,
the
there you
link
go.
up
Post
there.
another join link. Perfect.
I don't know how much longer I'm going to hang out, but I would love to just speak with you, whoever you are, even if you're going to come off the top rope with me. Luna,
You're gonna have a
Luna,
heart
Luna
attack. Yeah.
GG is yes, a loyal. Got some people who are hanging out, which is always grand. And thank you guys so much. And I do not want to ignore you. So come on,
So
conversate.
I noticed. I haven't seen the video, but I noticed that Wolfie, Wolfie 6020 on YouTube, is a heliocentric Earth proponent and a real pilot
I
with.
know Wolfie.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. You know who he is, but in case the audience doesn't know, he is a lucid, sound individual with clear capacity to understand things like electromechanics and flying airplanes. So this man is
Yeah.
not a demon. He's not a fool. But anyways, and in fact, he's the one who showed the Jeppesen aviation flight charts of the flight routes actually being presented on the
concave.
inside of the sphere. Yeah. So,
That,
which of course, Steve used that material. I've shared that material. Of course, we've all used it. But he recently uploaded a video of a Qantas flight. And I forget the cities, but it was a day or so ago. But it's just more damning. Now, of course, he might portray the flight on the outside of the sphere, but outside inside doesn't matter. It's a huge problem for the flat Earth community, and so
yeah, it's going to be that flight. It's going to be that flight that I was just talking about. That Santiago, Chile.
214 or something like that.
Yep.
Is that what it
It's
is?
just
14?
been, diverted because it used to land in Sydney, and now it's opened back up, and it is landing in Darwin, where they're COVID friendly.
Instead of Sydney.
Yeah.
Okay. And you're saying on a flat Earth map that doesn't make any sense.
Absolutely.
Because the city that's closer takes longer.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
Like, a few hours longer. It's a few hours longer. Australia is, it's a pretty big place. It is, 2/3 of the size of the United States, and I can attest that the distances all seem to be accurate as far as I can tell. That's what I always wondered about, like flat earthers, and they like, they'll say that, oh, you follow Google Maps, or well, how can you go by that? Who doesn't use that and to accurately kind of track where your movement is, right?
Well, that's just that's just an app with a computer simulation anyway.
It
so
works.
Even
right.
Regardless of the shape of the Earth, that Google Maps could still function. So I think Google Maps is proof of nothing. That's what I'm trying to say.
It's very accurate.
But it's strong evidence of a spherical Earth. But I think in theory, even if the Earth were a flat circle, they could still deceive people in.
It would be very, very.
It would be very hard to do it, right?
Yeah, it's
it would be
pancaking.
With Google Maps, it would be possible. However, it would be impossible to do with Google Earth.
Yeah.
With Google Maps, because Google Maps is just going to show you basically most. In fact, Google Maps, when you zoom all the way back out, I think it does show you a square, flat rectangle. So Google Maps is using a flat square rectangle anyway, I think. But Google Earth is using a sphere. I mean, Google Earth, you could go, anywhere you want all around the sphere. So with Google, obviously they're going to use the outside of the sphere, but in reality, it's inside of the sphere. But either way, they're spherical. So with Google Earth can't function with flat circle Earth.
Yeah,
that's a big problem. That right there is a big problem with flat Earth, Google
Earth. Those images that Woofy was showing, and then also in some of Steve's videos, and he's talking about these satellites that are, I guess, at these these points, right, are pointing down, and he shows a cool video of how that is and man, that is concave. It's hard not to look at that and see that, right?
Screen share it so we can see what you mean.
Oh shoot, let me see if I can find it. In fact,
oh, never mind. I thought it was something you were looking at already.
No, he's got a video. Steve does, of course. He got a video. But anyway,
don't bother. There's a multi. Don't
go all into that.
Travis is uploading like a video a day.
And I was wondering,
which is the idea, because that's how you get exposure to upload constantly. So that's why, I've noticed, even if I search for just concave Earth, I don't see any of my own content. I used to see tons of my own content when I was while I was creating. Now that I stopped creating so frequently, drastically, it's like maybe twice a year I upload now. But now when I'll just do a search, just concave Earth, enter. So, and I'll never see my own content. And so it does have to do with the algorithm. It is wise if you want to get exposure to upload content. But now you're allowing social media to run your life. So it's okay.
Yeah. And I wondered why the flat Earth, I'd noticed they have been in damage control lately since that Woofy. Because I saw another guy trying to explain this flight, and he was saying the wind currents were 200 miles an hour faster on the outside of the ice wall, so they jump in the 200-mile-an-hour wind and
even though
fly.
nobody that lives in Antarctica for months and months and months
Yeah,
at a time ever reports winds that high there. So whatever.
yeah, and that's what they
Right?
do.
I mean, have you
They
ever heard
fly
that?
right. They fly right
Have
next to the
have you
ice
ever
wall.
heard
In
of
fact,
200 miles an hour winds that are just part of jet stream a daily occurrence? You know, it's just normally 200 miles an hour winds around here by the ice wall. So nobody's ever. That's the first time you're ever hearing of it is from a flat earther. Then it's probably not true.
yeah, and it's not only just this new guy that I saw made a video, but also I noticed that Jeranism was in heavy protect mode and doing videos about it. That we can't trust them. The planes disappear and they reappear again, and it's the same.
Well, plus now, I mean, the flat Earth community just suffered a huge blow because either a life was lost or a character was, you know, no, So in any event, that was a key proponent to the flat Earth community, and so now he's not there to speak on their behalf.
Yeah.
So my condolences to the Skiba family, but
yeah,
I really wish things had turned out differently.
Mm.
Say that.
Yeah, well, he did have strong faith, and so yeah. In the end, rest in peace, Rob. And yeah, I don't think there's been too many. Is anyone died in the movement? I mean, I'm trying to think. Are there some that have passed away? I'm sure there are a
Maybe some
few.
have. We just never knew. I don't know. Not that I know of.
Yeah.
Not that I know
Yeah.
everybody, but I don't know.
Yeah, not that we know everybody, right? Yeah, but I'd be interested into reaching back out. Do you think you can get a hold of Cathexis or any of that crew?
Actually, I recently saw a comment from him. I think maybe on one of your videos. I saw a comment from him on one of your videos. So I think I responded to his comment. So we'll see.
Yeah, maybe I'm going to dig through my comments, see if I can't reach
maybe
out to him.
maybe he'll see it.
Yeah. Yeah, maybe I
Yeah,
could.
I'm sure a lot of these people have just moved away from the whole topic altogether.
Yeah, I just want to talk to him. I don't
Which
care
I
about this.
understand. Yeah, so I'm just saying it might be a while before he even opens YouTube and sees a comment. So,
Yeah.
don't be like some people and just assume he's ignoring you right off the bat because he didn't answer you.
Yeah.
Not
I'm not all up in my
that
feelings.
there's anybody we know like that or anything, but
I've learned to get not all up in my feelings. It's not a good place to be.
Right?
Never a good place to be all up in your feelings, right? God, I don't want to go. I got to go do some shit, and I don't want to.
Yeah.
I got to go travel out in the big world and go put on my mask and QR code in and fit into the robot herd of Australian do-gooders.
I've heard reports. I don't know. I don't live in Australia. I'm here in Detroit, but I've heard that 90% of the Australian population has been vaccinated. Is that true? Is that true? 90%?
That is true, bro. That is true.
I mean, there's nowhere for you to know if that's actually true. I'm just saying, is that what's being reported in your own country?
Right now in New South Wales, we are double. We're double dosed, 80%. Yeah.
Okay, so that's even been. So that's just not fake news. Then I mean,
no,
it might be fake news, but I'm just saying, like, it's not just what Americans are hearing. That's actually those are numbers Australians are hearing in their own country too, right?
There's 80%, and I would say
because I don't
that
trust what I'm told about Australia if it comes from Americans.
And I
I'd
would
rather
say
talk to the Australians.
90% are what are they called? NPCs, non-player characters.
Yeah.
they're
Non-productive components.
they are. You're gonna get a canned comment. You know, what I mean, it's gonna be. You're gonna
It's
actually
funny.
have a lot of people just.
I recently watched that
watching.
movie Free Guy in the theater, and it's exactly about that very thing.
I watched it.
Oh, did you? Yeah, that's great.
I'm not allowed to go to theaters though. No.
Really?
I watched it. I also saw The Many Saints of Newark. Any Soprano house? Or is there any Soprano fans in the house?
You said The Many Saints of Newark?
Yeah, The Many Saints of Newark. I'm a big
Cool.
Sopranos fan. I do like I even like the podcast or the YouTube Talking Sopranos with Michael Imperioli and Steve Sharippa, which Steve Sharippa he's a Vegas guy. He came from New York and he was in Vegas and he was actually working in the Riviera in the showroom. He used to book all the shows there. Yeah, just to kind of tell some cool Vegas stories. So I do enjoy listening to Steve Sharippa. The Sopranos. Oh, yeah. Yeah, so it's kind of the prequel movie to The Sopranos. Mobster shit.
Cool.
You kind of have to watch the show.
Oh.
Yeah. What time you got there, Josh?
8:53 p.m.
PM. Wow.
Yep. Yeah, so I don't have shit to do. I already did it all today. This day is pretty much over. Got a lot accomplished today, so I'm happy.
Shit. Hold up 1 second.
So, let's see what's in the chat. I guess I'll let's see. Yeah,
sorry, my brother.
You'd already be in heaven.
Goodness gracious.
Yeah, that's true.
I think that's the longest I've been without my phone for ever.
Maybe that's how heaven comes to us. Is heaven just expands and comes to us. That's it. The firmament, right? The veil gets pulled away, which is the firmament, and actually the firmament doesn't.
Speaking of,
firmament comes crashing down in Revelation, right? So if there's no more firmament, heaven just expands and comes to earth. Heaven comes down to, descends. If heaven comes down to earth, heaven would just expand outward. There'd be no more firmament. There'd be no more day and night. There'd be no more sun because we just have the top of the octahedron as the light source or whatever, the original light source that before the sun was created. So basically, essentially, if the firmament goes away, then the only thing left is heaven. Heaven would just come down to the trees and grass and lakes and rivers and oceans to us.
A literal place.
The only thing that just divides the heaven from the earth is the firmament, right? So
that is correct. Do you remember the guy who was a concave earther who had a different concave earth approach? That the further you go in, the bigger it gets. I never could quite wrap my head around what he was trying to say. But
dimensional transcendentalism.
Yeah, something. But it was a concave earth model. It was a concave earth model, and he was actually like getting some traction a little bit. And I never quite could understand exactly what he was talking about, but it was a concave earth model. But the way he described it, the further you went in, maybe the smaller you got and the bigger it got. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not sure if we're talking about the same guy, so I'm not sure. But
no, interesting.
You're talking about the guy that references Doctor Who in that video?
It was called.
Because if so, that's Benjamin. Is that the one that was in my evidence playlist, the Benjamin Lewis that was talking about the Atlantic flat Earth dome?
No.
Yeah, the floating Atlantean city that actually had a dome over it, but that was mankind's creation. And then
No, not
he
him.
would show Stephen's model and say, well, so you must be talking about someone else. Are you talking about the other concave earther from maybe, I don't know, the 70s or so that had a much smaller celestial sphere?
Yeah, this guy was he was just an offshoot of like a concaver, but it was a different kind of model.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't think I've seen what you're talking about.
Yeah, I ran across a very interesting flat earther who I've been just talking with a little bit. His name's Lindsey Harris, and he's out of New Zealand, and he has some very interesting thoughts, and I'd like to get him on my show here.
Oh, is he here now?
No, I'm trying to look up his channel, and I don't know if I. There it is. Yes, I'm on it. Okay, here he is. I hope he's always.
Flat Earthers and spinning balls have to accept to get their head around the Earth being flat. Globies have to accept we have our own arc of horizon, 5Ks out, all the way around. Rise up, it'll get bigger.
Could you remove the comment so we can see the?
It'll tend to get bigger, but you're actually rising up.
Oh,
if you rise up so high, you get the full circle. So you get 5K all the way around you. So we know the Earth isn't rolling away at 5K because as you fly up, the horizon comes up to meet you, and science and all these guys start going, "Oh, no, it's too big. You can't see that curvature." Yet down at 5K, they say the Earth's rolling away. There's the curvature. So there's BS there straight away. It's just so stupid. Globes have to accept we have our own arc of horizon. We have our own arc of horizon. See, most flat earthers just use this one model and they think that's the flat earth design. No, it's not. That's only one slice. That's only a slice from the centre north out to the south. One slice there. All the way around we have this. No matter where you are, you have this arc, 180-degree arc straight over you to there. South to north. South to north. We're in here. But we are way down here with our own little arc of horizon, 5Ks. All the celestial bodies are all there. Projected down into our arc of horizon, the moisture-filled atmosphere. They're all projections, remember? You have to accept their projections, because they are. Everything is projected from the centre here, out into our physical realm, into the moisture-filled atmosphere. It's just like a glass. It's like I've shown in a previous video with the acrylic fishbowl. You only get the holographic images if you keep the black spray paint on the outside and keep the gloss of the acrylic on the inside. You put black paper or white paper, they disappear because that acrylic, it represents moisture.
All right, so that is Lindsey Harris. Lindsey Harris. Yeah, so he is flat Earth philosophy.
Oh,
and he is into, as you can see here, it's like a vortex. A lot of people seem to be into this vortex. So it's like a donut, right? A donut shape, and then the vortex is in the middle. And the stars spin around this way, I guess. And then I don't know what's happening in the south, which is strange because He lives in the South,
Yeah,
right?
he's what I noticed is that he's correctly explaining how one particular individual will see the entirety of the sky just in his own little perspective bubble. So he correctly identifies that, and Steve will
Okay.
basically
All
say
right.
the
Well,
same
then
thing.
you're getting
But
further than
he's
I've been able to get.
but he's still saying that it basically all happens on a flat plane, I think.
Yeah. And if you look at his, and I'm not bagging him out in any way because he's got a lot of videos, and I have been watching patiently. But they're
He's
all
leading
about,
people towards the understanding that concave
yeah,
Earth
they're all about the same thing, all about this torus field. And I keep on trying to get him to go to the ground. Come on down to the ground, buddy. I need to know what's happening down there.
Yeah, he's not seeing straight.
Yes. So maybe we'll reach out. Maybe we'll reach out to Lindsey Harris.
Yeah.
Yeah. So shout out to Lindsey. Go to Lindsey and tell him to come to our wonderful channel here and have a discussion.
Yeah, join our conversation. We got some stuff to
Yes.
say to you, buddy.
We would like to understand, because I mean, actually, he's done better work than a lot of them. He's
A lot of the flat
really
earthers.
on about it. And look at this, which is crazy. Here, let me play this one. This looks like a celestial sphere.
This is a hologram. Hologram in the fishbowl. The light source is above. Notice how the light in the background moves as the camera moves. I'll go to the left and the light will go to the right. Yet the light's not moving, is it? Only the camera is moving. Now that's a hologram with the light from above. But that's not the image we get on Earth. Our image on Earth will be this image back up in here. We see over the back there. And if we turn the light at the top, see this circular motion. You'll get in the concave sky in the southern hemisphere.
He said concave. He did.
Yeah.
But up north, you look just straight up where this light source is.
But from our
It's been
perspective,
projected
anywhere
straight
in
up.
the Earth, the sky is convex.
Yeah.
Because we're outside of the firmament. So in reality, the sky is always convex to us here on Earth. So yeah, I don't know. It looks like he's obviously, as a concave earther, what I see him doing is making it way more complicated than it actually is. So
Yeah, he's hard at it, man. He's been hard at it for a
probably
while.
what you're thinking. He's probably trying to make it all work on a flat Earth.
He's in the southern
What he's
hemisphere.
doing
there in
is,
New Zealand.
I think he's just adding more confusion. Not intentionally, but I think.
And you know what the deal is?
You and I clearly understand what we're seeing in the sky. But
yeah,
he's,
see, he unfortunately got exposed to Santos Bonacci syncretism. All right, so he's
astrology. The guy who
he's
can't explain the star trails is the astrology
Yeah.
guru. Isn't that fucking priceless?
I know, it's tragic, right? He's a devotee, and Santos
maybe Santos needs this guy.
Santos is in Mexico teaching his syncretism. I think he's
with no celestial mechanics. Isn't what
off
a con
the topic. Yeah,
What a con artist, huh?
Man,
Isn't it how amazing how you can get so far in an astrological community while still being unable to even explain the movement of the path of the luminaries. Like,
Yeah. Do you know how badass a guitar player he is?
no,
Have you ever seen him? Dude,
no,
he's a flamenco Spanish ripper guitar player, dude. Like ripper. He should just
great.
stuck to playing guitar. Like, yeah. I seen him
Yeah,
like on the
he
streets
should
of
do that.
Melbourne. Like, he's what they call a busker out here. These
Oh, yeah?
buskers, they just sit down with a hat and just rip. And yeah, he's really good. Yeah.
You probably wouldn't have to wear a mask either.
Another one. Yeah, he's down there in Mexico teaching, his classes.
Actually, do you have to wear a mask out in public in Australia?
Absolutely, bro. Absolutely.
They'll arrest you,
Like,
right?
when I go to the shops, absolutely.
The police will arrest you if you're not wearing a mask, right?
They'll definitely not like you. So you want to
They'll
draw
arrest you
attention.
if you don't put one on or something, right? Yeah, if you refuse it. Yeah, that's crazy. We're pretty much at the point here in America where we can pretty much go wherever we want without a mask. There's certain places where they have some sort of policy or whatever, but
they're looking to jack you.
Almost everybody's got the mask off now here.
Yeah,
we got football stadiums full of people with no mask on now. So,
man, you should see the cops in Melbourne. They literally
hockey rinks too, hockey arenas, basketball, all of it. It's all back to normal. Not all back to normal, but I mean, we're having.
I know. I see everybody I see a little bit of uprising happening.
Mask, no proof of vaccine.
No one's pushing back.
Maybe some of these. I think some of the sporting events do have a vaccine mandate. I don't know. I haven't tried, but you can tell by watching the highlights that the crowd isn't wearing masks. So,
yeah, I just sucks.
Which is great. I'm happy.
Well, I'm probably going to cut it short, Josh. I got to go do some shit. I don't feel like it, but
good. Get it done.
It must be done.
Morning time where you're at.
So I want to thank everybody for joining us, and Paul and Sister G and who else? Kitty Loves Wheat, Lunar GG, and Paul Curran. And you guys have a great night. Thanks, Josh. Yeah, I got to go out
thanks
there.
Thanks for having me, John. I appreciate it.
World. No, thanks for hanging out, bro, and we'll do it again soon. Have a great night. Peace out, my brother.
Later.
All right, you guys. Thank you for being here. I guess I hung out longer than I thought I was. Love you guys. Thank you much. We had a good day today, and I will speak to you soon. Yeah, share this with somebody. Tell them to come hang out. Take care, guys.